States when I was 7, and then Indiana in 2000. And in my time here, I've kind of become a true Midwesterner in the sense that if I can drive somewhere, I would much rather do that than fly. I'm also an idiot because I love registering for like high endurance events that I know I was going to have a hard time doing it, and then doing zero training and zero fueling strategy and kind of just showing up and hoping for the best. So, oh no, slide. Oh well. So Grinduro, for people that don't know, is a race that they do kind of all over the world. This year, I think they're doing Italy, Japan, Scotland, and California. So it changes year to year on all of the locations that they're doing. But the premise is the same for all the races. You kind of show up. It's a mountain bike, road race, gravel grinder event. But over the course of 70-ish miles, you're only really timed on certain segments of the race. So it's basically just ride 70 miles at your pace, except for 4 or 5 little sections of the race where you're actually timed, and that's really all that matters. So you can take 10 hours to do the whole ride, but as long as you're busting balls on the segments where you're timed, then you'll do pretty good. So getting there, this was a Friday, Saturday, Sunday event. So I took Friday and Monday off of work and packed everything up on Thursday and got a decent amount of sleep, which means that maybe from like 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock, I got a total of 30 minutes of sleep. Nervous jitters all around. And then kind of took off on a 9-hour drive across the country. This was in Pennsylvania. So we kind of went all the way up there to Appalachia. It was a pretty boring drive. You're taking I-70 and I-80 across until you get to Appalachia. And you can cross the highest point east of the Mississippi, which was pretty cool because you're kind of just riding on the interstate, going up, 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 and then you see a sign that's like, this is the highest point on east of the Mississippi, and it just opens up and you see a massive valley in front of you, which is pretty cool, but also scary as hell because I was like, oh crap, I'm going to be riding bikes and stuff like this. So, yeah. And in true Margot fashion, I wore jorts and Ham's button-up with bellows on this for this race, so zero preparation. I took my state. It's a 1x11 drivetrain with electromechanical shifting. So there's a company called Archer that did some cool stuff, but then went out of business. It was pretty cool, but Mauricio didn't support them.
Can I also ask a question? So, those sections that are timed on the course,
yeah,
are they clearly defined and marked?
Yeah, so they'll have, if you want to race on those sections, they basically have a little pad that you have to ride over that's clearly marked, usually off to the side, and you kind of just ride over that, and then when you're getting towards the end of the time segment, they'll have another clear section that's marked, and you ride over that, so you have a chip on your bike, and it just times you based off of that chip. But they don't tell you what the course is going to be until the day before, so there's really no preparation. It's kind of just run what you brung and hope for the best of it. And they don't tell you what segments are going to be timed until you're actually on the race. So nobody goes into the race knowing which segments are timed. It's kind of just, this is the course, some of it will be timed. So yeah, I got there Friday around 3 p.m. Kind of set up a camp. Kind of just had the tent on the top of my car and drank some beers, made friends with the neighbors, and got ready for the rides that they do on Friday. So on Friday they do 2 rides. I only had the Milky Way ride because it was my favorite of the 2. But the first ride is kind of just like a get to know each other. They have events and they'll do like little either mini races or scavenger hunts at a few different stops to get people that aren't familiar with the area acclimated with kind of the elevation you'll be going through, as well as just the area and support some local businesses. The Milky Way ride, you leave at right before the sun sets, and you kind of ride all of this massive vista, and ideally you'd be there and you'd be able to see all the stars. Unfortunately, when we were there, it was cloudy, so we got to see that picture on the top left. But this picture, unfortunately, cleared up a little bit, and that was kind of the same area. We went up it twice that day, so it kind of gives you a comparison of how the day looked versus how they might look. Once we got back to the site, or once we got back to the campsite, it was just a bicycle racing event. It was a massive party where everybody that was going to be riding kind of just hung out. They had live music, bonfire, a couple food trucks. So we went to the lake. So the QR code, if anyone's interested, I posted all of the routes from, I couldn't find the 2024 stuff, but the 2023 routes are actually the same. So those are all posted. If anyone wants them on Ride with GPS, feel free to say something. What's that?
I said it changes every year.
Pennsylvania, they actually ran the same one twice, and then they aren't running it in 2025, which sucks because I can't go this year. So Saturday we set off at 8 in the morning, 8 or 9 in the morning. It was about a 70-mile ride with 6,300 feet of elevation. Like I mentioned before, they kind of tell you what the route is the day before, so it's whatever bike you prepared, hopefully it's the right one. The key to Grinduro is there is no right bike for it. You always just bring various stages of the wrong bike for the event. There is a little section right here that was the most fun downhill that I've had in my life because it was just a wooded area where you could just bomb down the hill, and a lot of people that wrecked me on all of the uphills were scooting over because, like the idiot that I am, I was going down as fast as possible with a bike with no suspension on it. So everyone was like, oh, where's that crazy guy? And the second part about that, though, is as soon as you were done with one of the funnest downhills ever, you had an uphill that had, I think, 18 to 19% on the easy parts, and it was all in a muddy, wooded area. So a lot of kind of walking and complaining, asking myself why I was there. So once the ride was done, it was you got a couple free beers out of it, and it turned again into the second massive party of the weekend. Some more views from the ride. On this one, don't let that fool you. I am smiling, but that is actually at the top of that very impossible climb. So that was a big smile. And on the one on the right is right towards the end of it, where you can see my hand button that I wore. This one, the picture doesn't show it as well, but you kind of, similar to coming over the interstate, you kind of came over this hill, and just that whole lake area had opened up on you. So it was pretty cool views. But that's the crappiest picture that I've taken. So then on Sunday, just kind of wake up. Breakfast is served for everybody, and they do roughly a 27-mile ride. It's kind of just a chill, hang out. If you want to do it, do it. If not, nobody cares. Just a quick out and back, doing a little bit of the trail or the ride that we did yesterday, and it's for people who are interested in getting a little bit more painted before heading home for the day. So yeah, some lessons from this. The drive out is, even though as much as I love driving, it's extremely boring. I hate driving on I-70 because until you get to the mountains in either direction, you can kind of just see where you're going to be in 6 hours, and it's extremely annoying doing that. So maybe next year, if I decide to go either to the California ones, I'll either fly or carpool or take a train. Ideal bikes, it changes for everybody. I saw guys there that were on single speed bikes with like full rigid single speeds, running flat bars all the way to one guy who had a 1x13. So you kind of get a little bit of everything on there. They don't let you really plan for it, so it is what it is. Electronic shifting. This was my first time actually riding with electronic shifting, so it was great until I was halfway up a hill and the shifter decided to run out of batteries, and it was kind of just sitting there. It's like, good thing Jen right there gave me a couple of AXS batteries, because if not, I was about halfway through the trail or halfway through the ride stuck in the hardest gear without a battery. So fortunately, opened up my little bag. I was like, ooh, I have these batteries. So popped one of those in and was able to finish. So thank you so much for that. And I was actually surprised with myself on how well I did. They have a lot of stops, so at each one of the stops I made sure to just eat as many carbs and simple sugars as I could just to have energy. Grinduro events, they always at one of the stops have like the saltiest fries in the world. Get those fries. And yeah, that's all I've got. I've got a roughly 25-ish minute video that the QR code for that is there, just kind of showing the whole, or the interesting parts of the ride. It's a lot of me kind of complaining about climbs and how much I hate climbing, so if you're interested in viewing that, scan that QR code, but that is it for me.
Jim, you're up next.
Jim, you're up.